Sound can be your best friend or your worst enemy. It can be the biggest help in a more aggressive playstyle. Or when your senses adjust to a more ghost town map, give you the jump scare of a lifetime when somebody decides to test out a shotgun standing 2 meters away. It is natural for a lot of players to try and stay away from gunshots, especially when you're newer to Tarkov. They are scary. Every single engagement can result in death. Bullets are spooky. And I understand. I really do. Tarkov is such an unforgiving experience and we all want to stay alive. And I very much did the same when I just started playing, trying my absolute hardest to go unnoticed under the cover of darkness. However, I'll try my best to explain how this logic is flawed in this game, and what benefit you'll have in your game when you do go for the sounds. Because you will find that you survive more, in the end. It may sound very counterintuitive, but it's true, to an extent. By eliminating a player, you are decreasing the chance of unexpectedly getting shot by one, meaning your odds of survival will go up. Maybe what it all comes down to is by shying away from gunfights, you never get to practice and you will never improve, meaning you are more likely to lose when a fight does happen, because you cannot shy away from them forever. This will leave you with a bad experience and will make you even more likely to shy away from fights in the future. They call this a vicious cycle. I suppose the same can be said about camping and gear fear, but we'll leave those points of discussion for another time. This first example is what it can look like when you do play for the sounds. We touched on this in the previous episode a little bit. Sound is the major decider for PvP. You make noise, you move. This will keep you alive more, as the majority of PvP will happen when people move towards the sound source. Let's dive into the first scenario. We have just planted the marker on one of the Tiger trucks for a quest. As we wait, we shoot a scav next to the ice cream. Just as we make the shot, I can hear someone walking behind the wall, so we brace for them to push through the bushes. Out of nowhere there's a motion shot, extremely close. I'm guessing this guy is at or around the construction platform, and he is definitely moving away because it sounded to be further away than the wall. This gives us a clear indicator of where to go. Maybe unknowingly, our enemy has given up his control over the situation. He knew exactly where we were and could have acted on this advantage. But as soon as he pulled the trigger on another guy, I knew we were off the hook. Hunting season is now officially open and the roles have reversed. There are a lot of bushes around the openings in the wall, so we crouch sneak to make the least noise possible. We want to keep a low profile for as long as we can, because this is one of the strongest weapons we currently have. When sneak crouching through the bush, we check the surrounding area. Our guy does not seem to be on this side of the construction, so we can move a little quicker before we lose him. Good one, I heard a guy on the other side of the wall. As I get distracted by what I think is noise from the opposite side of the wall, our friend gives us more clues. We move away. The motion shot and the AK return fire alternate. These have to be 2 players in an active firefight. The amount of noise they make and their focus on each other gives us the green light to go full throttle. Run, dash or jump to whatever vantage point you would have available to you in an occasion like this. This does not happen often. Make full use of the little time you have. That mostly, man. For me, in this moment, going up the platform was the most logical choice to get an overview of where these guys were actually at. This gives us more information to actually formulate a plan. Make note of how this guy is moving. We could easily land a shot from here and wrap this up. But his movement, the leaning out from the cover, suggests to me that the second guy could still very well be in this fight. Not sure if he killed him. Still fighting. There's no more AK fire at this point, so it seems like Mosling Man is the victor. We have to move up regardless. With all of the previous clues combined, starting with the footsteps at the wall, the shot further away, and the fight where the Mosling Man was looking towards the backside of the construction, it is fair to assume that this is the direction he'll be going. We flank on the right to intercept. We don't run here as to not alert them. So far we've been undetected and he has no clue we're coming. Running is very loud in this game and it will give you away. Save the stamina for ADSing and moving around when the fight does happen, whenever possible. And there we go. Basically 2 kills for the price of 1. Or as they say, 2 birds with 1 stone. But the stone is actually a Mosin round. But, you know. In the next clip, Moist and I are on the interchange. As we approach the parking garage, we can hear gunshots from 3 different weapons. Nice. Oh, I thought I heard something.
Yeah, it was first like an impact. Did you hear that one? Like a ding. And then there was the rattle.
Yeah, the shotgun guy. Rattles MP5.
What's inside?
There's 3 guys. A Mosin, an MP5 and an AK. This leads me to believe there might be a 2v1 going on. Could be 1 versus 2. I'm not sure. I don't know if they're already inside the alley or if they're in the parking.
Sounded a bit towards our right, but I'm not sure if it was up top or down low.
Yeah, they changed it on the audio again. It used to be better and then now they changed it.
Oh yeah, there's a guy on our slope. Oh, he clapped me. I'm dead.
Moist almost immediately takes a bullet to the head, leaving me by myself. At this point, I'm outgunned, I'm not in a good position, and we can hardly see the guy. In the time we return fire on the guy hardly visible in front of the bus, we can see his teammate pop up on the right. This situation is not an easy one. We should be falling back. However, this puts the enemy in control of this engagement and we will most likely die because of it. We gotta try and take back control. In a split second, I decide to gamble on the fact that they'll miss their shot. We need to take the guy on the bus out now when we still know where he is, if we're ever gonna have a chance to live here. Falling back and repositioning will not go unnoticed. We will lose sight of our enemies and they can easily pincer us. So, I gamble on them missing me, trying my best to drop back into the little cover we have whilst rechambering until we really have to fall back for a reload. Yeah, there's 2 guys. We move back behind the car. Pop a painkiller to ensure we stay mobile if they take our legs. Painkillers are your best friend in situations like these. They will keep you mobile and alive. Use them before you actually need them. We assess the surrounding area and take a position behind the tire so our legs are no longer exposed. And now it's time to reload. After reloading, I listen if I can hear them move up, but don't hear anything. This gives us the time to heal our most vital areas. The head is still okay, the thorax could use a little love. So I drag the cheese on the chest to make sure that this is the part that actually gets healed up. You can do with losing an arm or a leg, but getting shot in and losing the thorax is instant death. We relocate to a slightly different position because they are most likely to be keeping an angle on the car. And they were so difficult to see. After taking the shots, we can see our guy running from left to right. He is clearly not looking our way, so in his mind we are still behind the container. We now have information about his whereabouts, but he will be completely in the dark if we relocate now. We get shot. The mistake I made is that I took too long to make up my mind to push further to the left. I should have done this instantly after I saw him run to the right in the small time window we had when he was not looking. When we peek on the left side of the container, notice how difficult it is to spot him from right behind the truck window. This is very bad for us. He has also seen us peek from the left, so we move to the right. Maybe from there we can get a better angle. Kind of, but we don't see him. Time to move back to the left. Keep the enemy guessing at all times. He overexposes himself, not shooting from behind cover and showing his entire silhouette. Add up to the fact that over the course of this entire fight, this guy has had a lot of opportunities to land a shot, but he didn't. This is why I peeked twice on the same side this time. This is a serious flaw in my own game to gamble like this, and it gets me killed more times than I'd like to admit. But notice how little time I spent outside of cover. The only time I peek out is to get a quick shot off. I think it's a 1v1 now. We land a hit, what looks like to be in the shoulder. So far, our opponent has shown that he's not the aggressive pusher kind, and he is very immobile. This leads me to believe that he'll most likely fall back and heal now. Whilst reloading, I realize that we've not been shot by the AK guy from the bus yet. We reload and peek from the right side. This angle is a little bit better than the one on the left, but still far from ideal. We take a quick pop shot to force him to stay in cover. And without much real options to move into new areas, we run back to the place where it all started. From there, it's a little bit easier to get an angle on the backside of the truck. As we set up, he comes moving back from the right. We get kinda lucky he doesn't land a hit, but we win the engagement. After checking, it turns out we did land a killing blow on the guy on the bus in our final attempt. I believe this is the turning point in this engagement. The 1v1 that ensued with the Mosling men was always in our favor because we moved around and we were the most unpredictable party. For the last clip, we are solo and sneaking towards the IDEA office. There was a lot of gunfire going on in this area and it's always a hotspot during interchange raids. Knowing this, it's always wise to move more careful through these areas. I know there's at least one PMC up here, so we use the sound to our advantage and look for him. This way we can take the fight to them, on our terms, and ambush them. This massively increases our own odds of survival. If successful, it will mean one less PMC that can shoot us unexpectedly. Whilst we are still unnoticed, blending in with the shadows, we wait for the perfect moment to take the shot. One hit with the Mosin is all it takes. All we have to do is land it. The opponent goes down with one hit. Move you bugger. The area is more secure and we can do some looting now. If you have made it this far, congratulations, and consider leaving a like and subscribe for more EFT. Let me know in the comments what you think of these kind of breakdowns and if you want to see more of them. And thanks for watching. See you in the next.